Before World War II, Jewish life was diverse. There was no one way to be a Jew. You could be Orthodox, conservative, or Reform. It didn't matter. You were a Jew, and all Jews and people were equal.
After the Great War, the Treaty of Versailles treated Germany very harshly. Land was lost. The German army was greatly reduced. The Great Depression struck hard. In the time of desperation, Germany turned to a new spark of hope.
During this difficult time, many Germans sought a way to restore Germany to its so-called former glory. One group in particular was said to be able to provide both these things. The National German Workers' Party, or as it would come to be called in later years, the Nazi Party.
Along with their rising power, the Nazis had one problem: Jewish people.
And the leader of the group, Adolf Hitler, was becoming a popular politician.
Für richtig hältst, dann tritt für mich ein, so wie ich für dich eingetreten bin.
The night of broken glass became a complete nightmare for the Jews. Shops were destroyed, valuable items were burned, but this was just the beginning.
I could not walk on the street without being pushed around by children who were not Jewish. It was getting to be very dangerous.
In the fall of 1939, Germany invaded Poland. Within days, the Polish army was overpowered and defeated. By this point, Jews had been forced to wear yellow stars on all their clothes, and many had been herded into ghettos or small areas of land cut out from cities to separate Jews from non-Jews. Life in the ghettos was harsh. Disease spread fast. Dead bodies often littered the ground. People were fed little or almost no food at all. Jews who were able to hide sought for a way to flee Germany, but with so little time and money, it was hard, if not impossible, for many people. Not to mention that they did not have the visas to get them out. They were virtually trapped within the borders of their own country.
We could not go anywhere. We wanted to go to America or to England or to some foreign other country, and we had no papers. We had no way to get out.
You had to get an exit visa to get out. None of the other countries would let us in.
But Shanghai began accepting Jewish refugees. Ho Shen, a Chinese ambassador that was in Vienna during the time of the Nazi rule, had saw the horrors of the Nazis, and against orders from his superiors, he had began issuing visas to Shanghai. He had signed over 2,000 visas, and over 2,000 Jews fled to Shanghai. People who had signed visas to Shanghai were able to flee. In many cases, Jews first took a train to Italy or another port in Europe. Then, from there, a long boat ride to Shanghai. When they arrived, they were virtually penniless. The Nazis confiscated the majority of their wealth. They struggled, but somehow Jews still managed to create a new life in the city. Within months, many Jewish businesses and synagogues could be found throughout the city. Compared to their previous life in Shanghai was luxurious. But meanwhile, back in Nazi Germany, the remaining Jews' lives weren't looking too good. Some camps had the sole purpose to kill, to exterminate the undesirable population. At these camps, upon arrival, women, children, senior citizens, and babies were herded into rooms, all their private possessions taken away from them. They were also asked to undress for a so-called disinfection, but in reality, they were to be led to gas chambers that would soon end their lives. But this was not always the case. Sometimes, healthy individuals could be selected for labor. Weak from starvation, thirst, and lack of sleep, many struggled through the days looking like living death or human skeletons. The upper hand of the war had shifted. The Allies were pushing closer and closer to Germany. Some camps had been liberated, and on the 8th of May, 1945, Germany surrendered. The world was shaking. The minorities affected by the Holocaust struggled to return to their lives, but it was virtually impossible. Borders after the war had been changed, as well as governments. Among other things, many towns were reduced to rubble, and victims of the Holocaust sometimes had nothing to return to. But world leaders had not forgotten about the Jews. Leading governments of the world, including the Allies, knew a plan had to be made that would fix this mess. In 1948, the nation of Israel was formed as a safe place for Jews. Many victims of the Holocaust moved there to find peace, a family, and a home. Trials against the genocide that was the Holocaust were also held, the most famous of which being in Nuremberg. Many high-ranking Nazi officials were sentenced to death because of their crimes against humanity. During this time, world leaders also divided Germany into 4 sections. The Soviets claimed half, and America, Britain, and France a sixth each. The Soviets' portion made up East Germany, and the remaining section was West Germany. Berlin, Germany's capital, was also split into East and West. It took more than 40 years after World War II to finally begin to see life return to normal. The world today still hasn't fully recovered after the genocide that was the Holocaust. We must all do our part to heal the wound that the Nazis made and be better, stronger people. Nothing like the Holocaust should ever happen again.